Welcome back to the Heavyweight Digital channel. I'm Emma, and today I'll be showing you how to set up form tracking for WP forms using Google Tag Manager. There are some basic form tracking methods out there, but these can't separate out between successful and unsuccessful form submissions, meaning your tracking can be inaccurate. This can be especially problematic if you're using your tracking for Google Ads. So today I'm going to show you a method that means it'll only fire on a successfully submitted WP form, meaning that you can rely on the data you're seeing in your Google Ads account. Today I'm going to be demoing on this website's contact form, but before we get started, you will need full admin access to the website's Google Tag Manager and also the website admin area, as you may need to make changes to the form settings. If you plan on using this setup for conversion tracking in Google Ads, you'll need to be able to mark events as key events in Google Analytics as well. In this video, we're mainly going to be focusing on the Google Tag Manager side of the process. So first off, make sure that Enable Ajax Form Submissions is enabled in your WP forms. You'll be able to do that in the admin area of your website. So if we come here, I'm going to be doing this form. You have to go to Edit and then go to Settings and then scroll down to the bottom, and then this should be enabled. Normally it will be enabled by default, but if you start following the instructions in the rest of the video and things aren't working, this not being enabled is normally the reason why. So first we need to go to Tag Manager, and the first thing we're going to make is an Ajax listener code. The code itself you can find in our linked blog post in the description. But what you're going to do is go to New, Tag Configuration, Custom HTML, and then you're going to paste that code in here. I'm going to name it Ajax Listener. And then set your triggering. I'm going to do it to all pages. But if you want to customize things, have it to trigger on only the pages that have forms on, you can do that. But for this method, I'm just going to do all pages and then click Save. The idea is that the Ajax listener code will fire an event only on a successful form submission for a WP form. However, with the listener code, if your website uses more elements with Ajax, they may also return the success true response, which is an element that the listener code is looking for. So we need to make our tracking more precise so it only fires on a successful WP form submission. So to do this, we'll set up a data layer variable that looks for specific data within the confirmation that comes through from the success true response. So we're going to go to Variables and then come down here and go on New, and then New Variable, and then Data Layer Variable. Then in the Data Layer Variable name, you're going to copy in attributes.response.data.confirmation. This will be available for you to copy and paste in our blog post as well. And then I like to name this just div, and then what the data layer variable name is, so it's easy to spot. And then we're going to save that. The next thing to do is to test that all of that is working. So I'm going to go to Preview, and the contact page, which is where the form is that I want to track. Open all of this up in preview mode. Connect. And I'm going to fill out the form as a test. And then submit. And now that confirmation message has come up, so we can see here that an Ajax complete event has been fired. So this is off the back of our listener code that we created, the custom HTML. And then in variables, here is our data layer variable, and this is the response. And the key bit we're looking for is this part here, the WP forms confirmation. And then this number here is actually the form ID. So if I come back to the admin area, you can see here that this form, the form ID is 598, and then here we've got the confirmation for 598. So now we're going to use this information to set up our trigger. So I'm going to copy this, come back here, go to triggers and new, trigger configuration. We're going to choose custom event. The event name needs to be exactly the same as the event name here, case sensitive. So we need to input Ajax complete. Remember, case sensitive. And then we're going to choose some custom events, because this is where we're going to differentiate from any other Ajax related elements on your website for specifically your WP Forms ones. So on this drop down, we're going to choose the data layer variable that we created earlier. And then I'm going to input that WP Forms confirmation. And then with the form ID, if you've only got one form on your website, or you don't care about tracking forms individually, you just want to track all WP form submissions on your website, you can get rid of the form ID. For what I'm doing now, I want to set up tracking for that contact form specifically, so that I can differentiate between the different forms on the website. So like I say, if you don't want to do that, just delete out the number, just include this bit, the WP Forms confirmation. But if you want to do more granular tracking of forms individually, make sure to include that form ID in there. And then name it whatever you want, and then save. So now we're going to go to tags and create the tag. So new, tag configuration, I'm going to do Google Analytics because I want to send an event to Google Analytics. You need to get your measurement ID. So in Analytics, in the admin area, you can come to data streams, select your data stream, and then you can get the measurement ID from here. Come back to Tag Manager, input that. Input the event name that you want to show up in Analytics. So I'm going to do contact form submission. Then for triggering, I'm going to select the trigger that I just made, and then name your tag whatever you want, and then you can hit save. And now the final step is to test that everything's working and that that tag is firing when we want it to be. So if I go to preview, reopen up preview mode, and fill out this form again. We've got our thank you message. We'll see here on the Ajax complete event, our tag has fired, and then that should mean that the event name that we specified has been sent through to Analytics as well. And then in 24 hours, you'll be able to mark that event as a key event and then import it as a conversion into Google Ads if that's what you want to use it for. Something that I just want to show you as well whilst we're here is that this method of tracking is only for a successful form submission. So if I don't fill out these required elements, let's see what happens. So we'll see the form has started, but even though I click submit, because the form didn't actually send, there is no Ajax complete event like what happens on a successful form submission. So that means that this is all only going to fire when you actually get successful submissions.
That concludes how to track successful WP form submissions using Google Tag Manager. Don't forget to check out our other conversion tracking videos. Like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to our channel for more from us.